Hi everyone, and welcome to 1/6 Figure Focus. And this is episode number 6 of the Focus, where I basically hop on whenever I want and just talk about whatever we want. So yeah, I've sent a few links around to people, but there are people who have jobs and work currently. I'm on holidays at the moment, and yeah, I'm just going to talk. Well, you know what we're here to talk about. So just going to address the chat really quickly. So who do we have? We have people in here already. Amazing. Good stuff. Figurassic Park. He's like Chuck Norris. He doesn't sleep. He waits. We have Ryan Smith. Thanks. I saw you watched my I think my favorite video I've ever made today was ever made was that video that I made today for these sideshow collectibles. General Kenobi and Anakin. I just think it had to be done. Why can't I hear the music that's supposed to be playing now? Oh no, there it is, just really, really low. Okay, so yeah, we have Ryan Smith, we have Figurassic Park. Thanks very much for being here. T. Ria, how are you? I see you commenting on one of the premieres earlier on. Ben, how are you? We have Ryan and Ben having a bromance too. Hello Ben. Hello Ryan. I enjoyed the room tour. Yeah, I watched that one as well. I love the fact that Ben went all out for us and went full tuxedo. You know, like that was. He's not wrong. He's not wrong. Yeah, he went all out. He needs to wear it for Collector's Lounge just to mess with Leel's head because that would just be hilarious. Trevor Weed says, "Okay, now I'll be catching a Focus live stream." Thank you, Trevor. I saw you commenting on the premiere earlier on. Thanks very much for watching. And thanks very much for this is time of your life you're not going to get back, Trevor. So thanks very much for being here and taking part. Appreciate it, Tyria. They've met me. They've met me more like yeah. Shelf Scenes. That video was funny. Thanks for making me lol the same. Thank you. I'm glad. I don't. I'm generally like. I don't tend to. There's certain things I don't do. I tend not to troll. I tend not to. Write comments on Facebook posts. I just, you're never going to win an argument online. If I don't like something, I'll say I won't like something, but I try not to hate on things. So I thought the best thing to do was just say nothing at all. And I'm glad people got the humor. But yeah, they're not great, are they? They really weren't great. 12-inch Moose Dream. Hello, how are you? Tyria. It's definitely too hot for tuxedos at the moment. I bought Brother Tor for less than 190 shipped from Sideshow. Oh, you got that $75 coupon? Yeah, that's a good steal. You know, that's definitely one. Do you have the other two of the big three? I got the other two, but I don't actually want to pick up that Tor. I was going to pick up the one for the new film, and then I saw the new film, and yeah, it really wasn't for me. Okay, so let's see what the story is here. I just want to. Right, so what do people think? There's 10 people in the chat. What do people think about those new exclusives that they've just released? So I'm just going to take a look just before we start. Just going to quickly plug this. So this is out of all the lifetime of my channel, out of all the watch time that I get, about 50% comes from people who are not subscribed and 50% comes from people who are subscribed. So if you're watching right now and you haven't clicked that subscribe button and you like the content, I really would appreciate if you do. Thank you very much. I'm going to get rid of this. And yeah, we're going to take a look at this. So what you should be able to see now is really quickly just get some of these chats, go through some. So yep, you're talking about Bro Thor and you got the $75 discount. Ben says the Sideshow Clone Wars figures are such a letdown and I was really looking forward to the range. That's the thing, like Hot Toys, although they have made figures from the Clone Wars, the animated series, they have this hybrid which isn't quite human and isn't quite screen accurate. So if you're a big Clone Wars fan, you probably are wondering like, why don't they just do the animated likeness? And then along comes Sideshow, and Sideshow, where the head sculpts for real life people aren't great at all. That's an understatement. Their animated stuff tends to be okay, you know. But this was, I genuinely thought everyone was excited about General Kenobi. Everyone, so there's a Jawa here. That's my text tone going off. Everyone was excited about General Kenobi, the Sideshow one, and a lot of people were excited about the Anakin, and then people lost their minds for that Yoda. But now I think there's going to be a lot of cancelled orders based on that. But like, look, they're not for me because I'm working my way through Clone Wars. I'll eventually get them finished before I'm dead. But I think a lot of people are disappointed. So you're working backwards. Trevor Weed says the benefits of work from home is watching YouTube while I work from home. Nice. Ben says that I presume that's the drops are lit. Or maybe that's the temperature in that tuxedo. Minus the lizard base. Yeah, I think a lot of people are going to be disappointed by that. I'm not, because I wasn't going to get the lizard anyway. But like, they kind of had like half. They kind of did what people were thinking they were going to do. Some people were saying they're going to add a lizard base, and some people were going to say they're going to add a Sandman base, and some people were saying they could use the Venom body to make the lizard, which would have made a lot more sense. But maybe that wouldn't have sold. So they're getting clever, going, well, if we have a diorama base, which people are crying out for, you know, we can sell them separately. Works out for me because I definitely had no interest in the base. And even if they had sold the Andrew on its own and the Andrew with the diorama lizard base, I still would have gone for the Andrew on its own. But that's just me. Clone Wars, Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin are catfish figures. Yep. 1/6 scale man is here. Like and subscribe and get free cleaning products. I'm not going to give you my cleaning products. Man, I'm making a video about that. I can't give away my secret sale. Thanks for being here as well, Lael. I think the Obi-Wan looks like an Xboxer with a nose sculpt. Yeah, I don't know if they're going to improve it. Love the announcements. Yeah, we're going to chat about that as soon as I get to the end of this chat. Wow, the chat's going crazy here. I'm not able to keep up. I think that they're good, but the Wolverine is probably the best. A lot of people are thinking the same thing. Hit that like and subscribe button. Thank you for the plug, Figure Jurassic Park, Trevor Weed. I get the Andrew Spidey and the lizard base. Not sure about the Kenobi yet. No need for Wolverine for me. Yeah, no need for Wolverine for me either. I will give my thoughts on it. But it's not because it's bad. It's a bloody good looking figure. I like Wolverine and Andrew, but they just won't fit with the vision I have. I like the way you said vision. I have for my collection, Kenobi will be the one I'm getting. Hope they revise the head sculpt. I don't hate it. Yeah, I don't hate it either. I tend not to hate on things. But I'd say it's about a 6. We will get to it. I think it's going to be Spider and probably Obi-Wan. Yeah, Ryan, that's more than likely what I'm going to do. Waiting on the head sculpt improvements to see what other versions we might get. I think the Andrew head sculpt looks good, but you're obviously talking about the Kenobi one. Big Collector says, hey, 25 in the house. Brilliant. I'd say pretty solid. Obi-Wan is current. Andrew's a 2.0 from the past. I think is it updated paint apps? I doubt it's the exact same head sculpt. I was trying to wonder that. Like, I was trying to find pictures, but I didn't have time. From my understanding, it's like an updated sculpt, or an updated paint apps. Would that be right? Maybe the same sculpt, maybe slightly different. And then paint apps. So Thule is very happy with the announcements today. Thule, you were like everywhere these days. You're in my comment section, you're in my my chat section, and I am delighted. Thank you. William owns the new Spider-Man with the lizard base. Looks awesome. A lot of people liking that as well. I think people are generally a lot happier with this wave than the Listerine Iron Man, what was it? Listerine Iron Man, the Arena Boba Fett, and what was the other one? That's bad if you can't remember. Oh yeah, the Neo, who literally needed more guns. Just give us an old 2.0 of the first Matrix Neo. Give us a Trinity and a Morpheus, and then call it a day. Maybe InArt will step up. Yeah, Toby with a sand base. Ben said that. If was the first person to point that out to me. I'm not going to take credit for that, Ben. The attention-seeking geek. If you haven't already gone and subscribed to Ben, the attention-seeking geek, or Lael, the 1/6 scale man, 2 of my collecting friends, then you're doing it wrong. I'm speaking in absolutes. You are doing it wrong if you haven't clicked the subscribe button on both of them. Ben is, I think he's in around, he's coming close to 650-ish. He's going to hit 1,000. He doesn't believe it yet, but we put it out into the ether. It's going to happen. Oh, yes. Obi-Wan head sculpt's a bit of a miss for me. I completely agree with you, William Owens. I don't think there's, I think like, if you're rating something out of 1 to 5 stars or 1 to 10 points or whatever, a lot of people seem to forget maths. That not everything is a 1 or a 2 or a 9 or a 10. You know, there's also 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And being honest, when I look at it at certain angles, it looks like Ewan McGregor. It's definitely not a trash head sculpt. I couldn't do the same job. I know it's not my job to do the same job. So I have to, I'm not going to grade the head sculpt on my own ability. That would be silly because I don't have those skills or talents. So you do have high expectations for these sculpts because Hot Toys keep outdoing themselves. But it's not trash. I think it's about maybe, I think it's a 6, to be honest. I see Ewan McGregor for certain angles and then not from others. I think it needs a little work. Okay, I think it needs a little work. And I think that they will work on it. Are you pre-ordering the Wolverine? I'm not. I will get to that when I chat about it. I would like to get a reissue for the first Amazing Spider-Man suit. Oh god, that's tough now after this one. They're labeling this or branding this Amazing Spider-Man 2. You could be reaching there, big collector, but I hope I am wrong for your sake. That's Ben, the Attention Seeking Geek. Just to remind you, click that subscribe button. I don't mind if there's a mass exodus from this live stream. Everyone goes out and temporarily finds Attention Seeking Geek on YouTube and clicks the subscribe button. Fairly new to the collecting hobby and trying to get acquainted with all the cool people and they're making videos, streams, and just informative content. You're looking for the cool people. What are you doing here, man? You need to go over to Lael, the 16 Scale Man's channel and Attention Seeking Geeks channel. But I do appreciate the kind words and being in here. Thank you. I do appreciate that. Everyone here should like this video. Thank you. Ty, brilliant. Uncommon Flex, Ty Uncommon Flex has a YouTube channel as well. Really, really nice guy. Streamed in a few times. Absolute gentleman. You know what to do, folks. Uncommon Flex on YouTube. Very, very easy to listen to. Kind of just a very chilled out gentleman. Absolute legend. So maybe give him the click as well. It's free. And you will always learn something. 30 people in the chat, and it's in the middle of the day. Happy days. Right. So, the Obi-Wan head sculpt, we're going to talk about that. We are going to get to that. So, I'm going to start off with Spider-Man here. Right. Just want to make sure I'm doing this correctly. So, I have, presume everyone can see Spider-Man there. Can you just give me a thumbs up there if you can see what I see here? You can see like me in the corner on the left, and you can see Spider-Man. And now I'm toggling through the pictures. So there's Andrew, and then there is the sculpted. So can we anyone just give me like a thumbs up, or yeah, we can see that. I'm toggling back and forth. I want to make sure they don't talk for 10 minutes and then no one actually see the coinciding photos. Super, thanks. Appreciate T-Ria, Julie, and UK Sit. I woke to all this news, still processing. Recon excellent. Right, so I'm just going to mark the last chat, which is Big Collector with the thumbs up, and then we're good for 33 in the chat. Super. I like that I'm doing live streams and people are actually watching. That's brilliant. I'm not talking to myself because I would do that. Right, where do we start? So the best, I believe, MCU film since Endgame, in my opinion, and it's all subjective. No Way Home. I genuinely thought No Way Home was up there with Endgame, of the same standard. I still don't know which ones I prefer. I think maybe I'd lean towards Endgame, but then I just thought they absolutely nailed No Way Home. I did not like the Eternals. I didn't like Shang-Chi. I know everyone likes Shang-Chi. It just didn't do it for me. The bus scene was amazing. That tram scene, that was brilliant, but it really just landed flat for me. Multiverse of Madness, not for me. And I saw Thor the other day and I went, oh man, like tough times for the MCU. But I loved No Way Home. I wasn't even a fan of the original Tobey Maguire films, and they were the ones that I kind of grew up with, just never really did it for me. Maybe it's the Sam Raimi effect and the Amazing Spider-Man. Look, I've watched them all. Look, they'll entertain me, but I genuinely think Tom Holland was where they first got it right. I really, really like Tom Holland's version of Spider-Man. It just they changed it different. They didn't like tell the same story in the same way for the third time. They just plucked him out of Queens and put him in a tech suit. And, you know, basically this the Tom Holland trilogy is his origin story, and now the Stark Tech is gone. So anyway, we're not here to talk about that. I really like No Way Home, hence the idea of simply just getting the integrated suit from Tom Holland, the Amazing Spider-Man suits you can see on screen, and hopefully, you know, Toby's coming. They released a meme. They're not going to do Andrew. They're not like you need the integrated suit and Andrew, which have both been announced. They're not going to do the two of them without doing the Tobey Maguire suit. They're just not. Even for Hot Toys, that would be the worst in the cyborg dilemma. They're not going to do that. They're going to release Tobey. He'll probably come with the Sandman base, so they've done them all then. The idea of having 3 of these, yes, 3 of them, with no stands, in a detail, either doing the meme with their masks on, or doing the meme with them all holding the masks off, showing off those head sculpt, because this head sculpt is beautiful, or trying to emulate the power of posing with Peter and alliteration while I'm at it, and using some fishing line to get them in those kind of, the transparent see-through fishing line, where they're all jumping in their own unique ways. That would be amazing. And I think in a detail, if you do it right, it would still look clean, not cluttered, if you just use the space properly. So this I am interested in. I think that head sculpt is great. Do I think it's the best head sculpt I've ever seen? No, I'm gonna kind of ground myself. No, it's not like a 10, but how often do you give out 10s? I think that Boba Fett, I genuinely think that's one of the best head sculpts I've ever seen in 6 scale. It just creeps me out. It's really, really good. Little side rant. I will always be mesmerized by the talent and the skill, the engineering to put these figures together, the artistic talent and skills that these people have, for whether it's sculpting or paint application or the tailoring. Amazing. So if I say something's a 6, it's just me being a bit objective, maybe, and just in my own opinion. Or it's also subjective because it's my own opinion of what I see. But I'm not trash. I'm just saying I'm basing it on the best. Like if that was a 10, I'm saying that this is probably about an 8. It's just a focal point. You know what I mean? Like, how do you judge if something's hot? Okay, if something is 100 degrees Celsius, it'll cause water to boil, fine. But like something can be 5,000 degrees Celsius and be a lot hotter. Like there's different, you need a reference point. So if that's my reference point, if that's a 10, that Boba Fett, I think this is an 8. Oh, it could even be a 9. It's very good. I just think maybe that one is slightly better. But that makes sense because this guy's younger. He's less wrinkles. It's harder for them to do this. So I'm even talking myself into giving this a higher score now, but I think this is fantastic. I'm going to flick through this and then address the chat. I want to know what people think. Give me a score. When I flick back, I can't see the chat now, but when I flick back, I want to be able to, maybe if I minimize this, can I actually, 1 second, exits. Can I see? No, 1 second. Can I see? Can I flick? I don't think I can actually move chat. StreamYard definitely has its limitations. I'm trying to flick and see in the chat. I can't really do that, so I'm gonna have to go back and forth. Yeah, basically, as I'm flicking through these images, just put a score in the chat, like out of 10, right? If you want to do half stars out of 10, whatever, go for that. So we just want to see I'm interested to see what people think. I'm giving this an 8. I think it's very good. So the first thing I notice is I really like the material they've used for the suit. I really like that this seems to be slightly raised up, which would make sense. I like the spider, and even like this material. It reminds me almost something out of like the Superman material for Man of Steel. It was a dark blue, and it was a hard, like almost armored, meshy kind of material. I really like that. And the way that the colors, this is such a dark blue, this is a nice, vibrant, bright red, that contrast. Love that. I think the proportions look good. He's a fairly lean person. Like, he's not like a jacked Spider-Man. He's got kind of the Spider-Man body. He's sinewy. He's lean. I think they got the hair right. I think they've got the expression right. I think it's good. I think this is about an 8 out of 10. I think, though, this angle here is better than this angle here. This is still not bad, but if I just saw this angle here, I'd be like, okay, it's probably about a 7. But I suppose, look, we all look different from different angles. I like the way they have this little piece here as well that kind of goes up above a bit. I think that's a nice touch. Makes it a bit more screen accurate. The base, I don't like the base, but I won't use it anyway, so why would I rant about it? Like, realistically, the 3 ways I want to... But if I was to get the integrated suit, and I was to get this, and I was to get the Tobey when they inevitably announce it or release it, Meme with the sculpts on, masks on, meme with them holding the masks with the mask off, or then like the landing poses, or maybe one of them's landed and one of them's just about to land and one of them's actually in the air. I think that'd be great in the one shelf and the detail. Still look nice and clean, no clutter from stands, but just it would really focus on the figures themselves. This looks fantastic, or amazing even. This is the first thing I saw, and I was like, is that a joint? Is that a seam? Like, but it's just a bit of a ripple, so it's not, doesn't look like a Marvel Legends or anything. It's just whatever way they have it posed, there's a bit of a crease, that's all. I think a lot of people can be happy with this. Either diehard Spider-Man fans, diehard Andrew Garfield fans, diehard Amazing Spider-Man fans, completionists, MCU fans, No Way Home fans. This, like, surely we all, if you're watching the stream, you fall into one or more of those categories. Yeah, I'm very happy with this. I'm glad they did this. And it's like, you know what I love about it? Watching No Way Home and the nostalgia and how much it affected people in the cinema, and how much people lost their minds. An Irish audience don't tend to get that enthusiastic in the cinema. Remember watching The Dark Knight on opening night back in 2008, and obviously Heath Ledger had passed, and at the end the movie was packed. It was like the biggest screen in the cinema. It was packed house, you couldn't get tickets, and at the end there was silence, and then people started clapping. And it's like, at a play or a live event or a concert, it'd be natural to start clapping because you're giving a nod to the performers. But even though he was passed and they weren't really clapping at him, it was just almost that kind of, we all recognized that was amazing, great film, and he did an amazing job, and rest in peace. I thought it was really, really nice moment from a very sad moment, we'll say. But in No Way Home, there were these like 5 guys behind me, like, and they lost their minds when Andrew came out, and everyone, like the cinema, lost their minds. But I think I got a good kick out of the 5 guys behind me who were just like blown away. Like, and I was like, definitely had that excitement as well. And when Toby came on screen as well, it was cool. And they definitely, the way they handled that, they didn't just give him like a token cameo. They were part of the plot. They were part of the plot to kind of save the day and how it went about it, and even the influence that they had on Tom Holland Spider-Man. Say, don't make our mistakes, don't go looking for vengeance. I thought that was great, and it made me appreciate those other films more, even though I'm not the biggest. I'm not a fan of the Sam Raimi trilogy or the Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2, but I could definitely go back and watch them now and appreciate more because of how they were handled in No Way Home. And the Gwen Stacy scene, I mean, come on. So yeah, I'm going to get this, but again, all right, just take a look at everything. I like to take a look at everything he comes at. This is bothering me here. Look, this is not a joint. This is just whatever way it is, it's looking like a gap. But it's not. It's material. You can see it here. The material goes all the way over. It's just how you pose it, maybe. You might have to massage the shoulder there to get it right. Proportions look good. Texture looks good. Coloring looks good. Head sculpt looks great. Yeah, this is. I don't like this, but I won't use it anyway. A bunch of swap out hands. I'll probably use 2 of them. The usual webbing. And I think this is a hit. I would say this is worth about $265, maybe $285. Apparently it's $290. 33 in the chat. I really do appreciate that. So I've gone on a bit. I'm going to address the chat now. Wow, I could be here going back and back and back. Oh, that's not too bad. Super. All right, so who do we have? The Clone Collector. Aaron, how are you? I wonder if this is a tactic for Hot Toys to make a poor prototype, because when the prototype is so good, people have high expectations. The figures, like the Sideshow Clone Wars figures, I don't think anyone has high expectations for them anymore. Are you talking, Aaron? Sorry, could you clarify? Maybe are you talking about the Obi-Wan Kenobi, or are you actually talking about the Clone Wars, the Sideshow ones? Or no, this is Hot Toys, you said, so you have to talk about Hot Toys. Are you talking about the Kenobi from from Hot Toys? Maybe that's it, because I think the Spider-Man looks great. Julie, did I like Eternals? No, I didn't. No. I like Barry Keoghan because he's Irish, and I like the job he did, but like, no, I watched it. It was probably my least favorite MCU film. This Spider-Man is the only figure I'd buy so far out of the set, and didn't even like the Amazing Spider-Man films, but No Way Home made me like him more. Exactly, yeah, 100%. I love that when there's a big drop and everyone's losing their minds, and you're like, oh, thank God, I'm only interested in one of them. Or in the last drop, like the Listerine Iron Man. Nope. I think The Matrix is one of the best films ever made. The first one, fantastic. But that the standard went so low. And no, that Iron Man, as much as I like, sorry, that Neo, as much as I like Keanu Reeves, not happening. Eternals, New Thor, even Doctor Strange was weaker than earlier MCU. Yeah, I think so. I still think this head sculpt needs work. That's fair enough. You're talking about the Andrew Garfield. That's fair enough. Again, I like when, I've said it before, like a lot of times, I usually finish up my videos with like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment. Let me know if you're getting this one or not. Do you agree with me or disagree? And I genuinely mean that. And I like when people go to the effort of saying, look, I've watched your video, thanks very much or whatever. And then they say, but I don't agree with you there, because it's respectful. It's like, we cannot all agree, but it's about how we disagree, which is kind of the most important thing. And yeah, like, look, a big collector, if they come back and they transfer this from an 8, in my opinion, to a 9, you're going to make us happier. Like, but I do think it's a solid sculpt. I think the Kenobi one needs work. Hi, Eddie Rodriguez from the States. Thanks for being here. It's a 7.5 for me. Good enough, but room for improvement. Yeah, solid point, Ryan. Correct, dude. Cut and sew department, for example, gets little to no love, especially on the new Wolverine. Yeah, we'll take a look at that as well. Pedro, do you think this will be a 2-year wait? They kind of have. It depends. Like, if it's the same body and same sculpt, then wouldn't it be quicker? But I don't know. I don't have the original one, so I don't know enough to know if it is the same body or is the same material or is the same sculpt with just different application and maybe slightly different cut and sew. So hopefully it won't be 2 years, maybe a year and a half. We have a 7.5, we have an 8.5, solid 8.5, we have an 8. A lot of people liking this. I do think it's a good one. All Hot Toys are worth getting for the right price. Yeah. Comfortable giving it an 8, 7, 8. I hope the neck issue is fixed on this. What was the neck issue? Are you talking about the original one? Was it bad? Tell me. 8, 8, a 9. Good stuff. Dropping the 9. 8, 7. Hope we get some new webs. Okay, good stuff. Trevor Weed. Can we all say hello to Trevor Weed in the chat? Can we all just say hello, Trevor Weed? Because this is the first time he's ever in one of my live streams. Just give him some appreciation here. Hello, Trevor Weed. Much like Iron Man and Batman figures, I'm very unlikely to use the unmasked head sculpts, so it doesn't really make the big difference to me regardless. Yeah, I get that. 90% of the time, my DX19 has the I suppose the mask on, but I like the option, and I do swap out things. Swapping things out, especially like if you're like me and you basically more often than not have one figure per detail. I rotate figures, and sometimes even just like repose, and it freshens up. So even if you're looking at the same 20 figures, you move them around a bit, put them in a slightly different pose, swap out the mask for the head sculpt. It keeps your collection fresh. Even if you've like 10 figures and you're never going to get any more, or 20 figures, you're never going to get any more. Changing a pose, swapping out a head sculpt for a mask makes a big difference. It keeps your collection constantly looking fresh. Maverick Collector, you do, mate, and hands, but that's it. Oh, I missed the start of that. I'm not sure about these Obi head sculpt. Doesn't look right. We're going to look at the Obi one next, I think. Commander Green, how are you? All right, I'm going to fly through these because I want to get on to the next one. We'll go through Kenobi next. One of the reasons I love watching spider or superhero movies day and night is the energy. Yeah, 100%. Just hearing your theater experience from the other side of the planet is quite astonishing. That's awesome, man. Thanks, Thule. Are you Texas, Thule? I can't remember. I think you told me before. Sorry, I just can't remember. Lenses look to be improved on the Spider-Man. Okay, good stuff. So the lenses are better. Hi, everyone. You always know it's Mike when you have a million exclamation marks. Don't ever change, Mike. I would have been here sooner, but work. Yeah, quit your job, man. You got to quit your job. I'm joking. Don't do that. It always seems to get in the way. Yeah. In fact, Wolverine, where did that come from? Yeah, I think a lot of people are going to be happy, pleasantly surprised And everyone's getting the hello, Trevor. Good stuff. Welcome, Trevor. I was being grumpy about the Obi-Wan head sculpt, but I know it will be fixed. Yeah, good stuff. Trevor's getting all the love now. Good stuff. Multiple head sculpts give you choice and good for photography. Yes. And Texas, yeah. There's a great band, Tully. They're from Texas. They're arguably one of my favorite bands. Well, they're definitely one of my favorite bands. Arguably my favorite. Depending on what day of the week you talk to me, but they're called Explosions in the Sky. They're an instrumental band. They're usually, I think, when I saw them live for like €5, which is like $5 about 20 years ago. They literally looked like they were wearing everything they owned, and the room wasn't much bigger than the room I'm in now. There was a drummer, a bass player, 2 guitarists, all instrumental. They did the music for a TV show called Friday Night Lights, which I actually haven't watched, and everyone keeps telling me to watch it because it's supposed to be great and because Explosion in the Sky do the music for it. I watched the movie, but I haven't watched the TV show. Explosion in the Sky, they're great. So we got, like, I definitely prefer the head sculpt to be solid, even if we won't use it, because it makes the figure better for others who will use it. Trevor Weed, thanks everyone. Everyone, yeah, I like the way Trevor is. Make this will bring Trevor back. I picked up Yoda Attack of the Clones today. His head sculpt is great. Good stuff. $100 will be my first super chat once you've hit 1,000 people. Let's get them in there. Man, I really appreciate that. But man, you don't have to give me anything. In case anyone hasn't heard the story, in case there's like one person in here or anyone who hasn't actually subscribed to Lael, the 1/6 scale man, I was watching Lael for about a good 2 years before I started my own Instagram account. It was at 1/6 Figure Focus, where I take photos of all the 1/6 scale and the 1/4 scale I own, and just put them up. And then I took the plunge and set up the YouTube channel. And I was in here. I believe it was Super Bowl Sunday. Will was doing an early stream, so I was catching it live. And on the channel, it was Will's channel, but Lael was there, Mario was there, Matthew was there, the Wonder Twins were there, and Brother Cousins were there. And Lael gave me a shout out, and my subs started going popping, and everyone else in the panel was like, "Oh, I've seen that guy," and someone were like, "Yeah, follow him." I think Riley or KG put my he went onto YouTube on his phone and put the thing up, but yeah, Lael was the first person to ask me to be on his YouTube channel. Well, actually, sorry, Marco was the first person to ask me, but then Lael got in there before, and I actually went on Lael's first onto Figureflex Friday. And yeah, the rest is history. So we're on Collector's Lounge, so much appreciated. But yeah, and you don't have to give me nothing. It's all been so much fun, so massively appreciated. Look at you. Thank you. Head sculpt. Andrew, solid 7 out of 10. Okay, good stuff. Austin, myself, Explosion Sky, awesome. Oh, they're so good. Like, it's just, you have to kind of like give them a chance. Like, you mightn't like them straight away, but beautiful music. Their album's called The Earth Is Not a Cold Dead Place. That sounds dark, but if it's saying it's not a cold dead, it's just check it out. Grew up in the 80s, so rock and metal scene was. So my favorite band from Texas, Dangerous Toys. I've never heard of them. I'm a big rock fan myself. Like a lot of 90s stuff. Nirvana, Soundgarden, Kyuss, Queens of the Stone Age, Rage Against the Machine, Tool. Like all that stuff. I like all these figures, but I don't know about my pocket would like it. No, I can tell you right now, it definitely doesn't. Figurassic Park is saying hello to the 6 scale man. Speaking of KG and Riley, did you see Sideshow's attempt at the Wonder Twin statues? Looks nothing like them. That reference is missed on me. I must check that out. All right. We're going to look at another one. What do people want to look at? No, we're going to go to Kenobi because I want to, just go through that. So hold on 1 second. All right. So I don't think any of these are up in Sideshow yet. Would that be correct? Okay, so Kenobi. Okay. All right, so we have Kenobi. chatting in the chat. All right, okay. So 35 people in the chat. Thank you very much. I know this is probably not the most sociable hour. I think people are probably still working, but if you're working from home, I always liked, if I was doing a bits and pieces from home, I'd like maybe collecting related podcasts in the background or something like that. So Obi-Wan Kenobi. I don't have a Kenobi in my collection. I don't have a Vader in my collection. My plan is I want an original trilogy Vader. So I have numerous options. I want 3 1/4 scales. I have the Iron Man Mark. Oh, sorry, let me rephrase that. I want 3 1/4 scales. I want a Marvel, a DC, and a Star Wars. I think I'd be happy enough with that, and I'd pop them up here in the floating shelves. I think they would look massive presents. I have the Mark III quarter scale, so that's my Marvel. I have the quarter scale Dark Knight. That's the second suit he has, like the DX19 suit, but the quarter scale version. It's on pre-order. It's like one of my last 2 pre-orders from that I have on Sideshow. I did a video on my Sideshow experience. That's up on my site. I put it up yesterday, so if you haven't checked that out, it's about 20 minutes. I just outlined the pros and cons of Sideshow according to my own experience, no secondhand information. And I've made like 24 orders with them, so I know what I'm talking about. But I wouldn't mind a Star Wars, so that you have Marvel, DC. I wouldn't mind a Star Wars quarter scale, and I really, really like that quarter scale Vader. So my options are go and get it, work backwards. That's 1. 2, wait until next year, which is 2023, the 40th anniversary of Return of the Jedi, and see if they shrink that down and re-release the 6 scale version with the head sculpt, because that'd be the obvious choice. Or maybe they'll do a straight re-release of the quarter scale, because that quarter scale was from Return of the Jedi. It's the 40th anniversary. And didn't they just re-release the quarter scale Batman from the Dark Knight trilogy? And they only did that a few years ago, so that's an option. But I really want this one here because of the split, and we know it's coming. I'm open to the idea. I want that Vader. Maybe get the quarter scale original trilogy and then get the Vader from this to display with that broken head sculpt. I think that would be just pretty epic. But let's talk about this guy. Now, I'm going to address sorry, you can't take you can take the teacher out of the lab, but you can't take the science out of the teacher. So I'm going to address the elephant in the room. The head sculpt. Look, I tend not to just absolutely trash on things. If I don't like something, I don't like something. It's not that I don't like it. I just don't think it's close enough to the likeness of Ewan McGregor. I think it's hard to point out. I think maybe, is he a bit wide around the face? I think the sculpted hair looks good. Maybe he's a bit wide around the face. And I don't know, maybe the beard here is like too neat or something like that. It's hard to actually put my finger on it. But it is not, you cannot say that this is trash. Like it's not. This is, I'd say, a 6. For me, it's a 6. Like if I look back, and I see that robe effect, let's say that's a 10, because that's a really impressive one if you don't have it. And I have it in hand, it's so good. If that's a 10, and the Andrew Garfield that I just looked at, I was saying an 8. This doesn't scream Ewan. I know who it's supposed to be because it's labeled Obi-Wan Kenobi, but I'm not sure if I took that head sculpt off and showed it to random people, would they know who it is? So I'd say it's a 6. I think it's a solid 6. There's definitely room for improvement. I think after that, that's pretty much the only kind of negative thing I can say about this. His robes do look a little clean. I'm not sure if they're clean or just they're not as dark as they were in the show. Again, let me know what you think in the comment section, in the chat. But I think this is a great figure. It's a DX. Let's just flick through. Just first impressions. Let's point out the trump card. This lightsaber is powered by a USB. Hot toys are officially in the 21st century. Do you know? Like that's a 22nd century. We're in the 22nd century, right? No, 21st century. Say 21st century. So they have joined the rest of us. It's USB powered. You don't have to worry about the little batteries. You don't have to worry about swapping out the arm thing. The arms. It has the lightsaber arms, and they click into the elbow and they're menace. So this is USB powered. So they've obviously seen the third party companies, and they've seen them kind of making these, what they call CFL lightsabers or something that stay lit, which look amazing. So they said, look, we're gonna cash in on that, and we're gonna give people what they want. Plus, they don't have to send batteries anymore, which means they can ship to Australia. Hot Toys need to start doing micro USBs for everything if they want to basically sell stuff to Australia, because you can't import those buttons anymore because of a government ruling. So the only bad thing I have to say about this is the head sculpt needs a bit of work. I think it's a 6. I don't think it's trash. I think it's a solid 6, but it's not like a 7, 8, 9, or 10. It needs work. Hopefully, even if it's a strong 7, like I'm probably going to get this anyway based on the strength of everything else. But yeah, the clothes a little bright, kind of like the Tusken Raider. I know the Tusken Raiders are supposed to be dirtier. He doesn't necessarily have to be that dirty, but I think it's maybe the robes here are a bit light. But it could be lighting. Completely could be lighting. But this lightsaber, given that it's USB powered, that's a win. Like the way he has the little blaster holder here. The proportion and the cut and sew look fantastic. I do think the sculpted hair looks good. I love the way they put the rocks in. I'm not even going to apologize. People went back and forth over Kenobi. In my opinion, when I think of Star Wars and the things I collect, Star Wars is original trilogy, Rogue One, The Mandalorian, and Kenobi. I would put Kenobi into the category of good Star Wars content. I wouldn't put the Book of Boba Fett in, but I would put episode 5 and 6 of the Book of Boba Fett in, which is a bit strange, but I think this was good content. Was it perfect? No. I think it was a 4-star series, but my God, that last episode, let's face it. Let's be honest. Be really honest with yourself. You're a Star Wars fan, you hear there's a Kenobi show, you hear Vader's in it. What's the one thing you wanted to see? Type it into the chat. I'm not even going to address the chat yet. Type it into the chat, but I'm willing to bet the vast majority of people said, or will say, well, we wanted to see Vader and Vader and Kenobi having another lightsaber battle. I mean, that's what I wanted. I wanted just the two of them, uninterrupted, not in the big, just having a lightsaber battle, and him in the suit, obviously. And I wanted to see him battle damaged. And I called it on the Attention Seeking Geeks channel. That's what I wanted to see. I wanted him to get a lightsaber across the face, crack open that mask, and reveal the sculpt underneath. What I didn't bargain for was how well they did the voice mixing between James Earl Jones, the synthesizer type voice, and Hayden Christensen's voice. I didn't anticipate how good Ewan McGregor's acting was. I didn't anticipate how good the script at that part was with that Hayden Christensen and the motion and basically the boys are brothers. That writing sadly wasn't throughout the entire series, but I just felt that was great, and that's what I wanted to see. And the rocks, I loved it. He kind of looked like he was throwing soft kind of marshmallow pillows at him at one stage, but the concept was good. He raising up the rocks, and it made sense that in that terrain they would utilize the terrain to fight each other. Sorry, rant over. These looks kind of funny. It's not a deal breaker for me. It looks like he's from the 80s wearing like leg warmers or something. It's like he's got hiking boots on and he's got the hiking socks above like this. That's quite funny, but I think that's screen accurate. Yeah, nice pose as well. I will do what I must. I spoke about this already. I'm not going to dwell on it. This is a lovely touch. It's so simple. Like, what do you want? A hologram? Do you want a hologram? Or do you want this box? It's very simple. Just a box, a bit of material, 2 lightsabers. Very, very nice touch. I would definitely... I know they usually, if you pre-order within a certain amount of time, you get this special thing or whatever. That might encourage me to do that. But we all know that you don't necessarily have to do that in order to get this. They'll say you need to order it in a certain time, but then realistically, a lot of time you don't. I think that's a nice touch. Take that over a hologram any day of the week. I like the way when you position him, you can't see the acrylic pole. You can see it a bit here, but you could probably pose that in such a way that that gets hidden as well. So that's a nice touch as well. They're making an effort with the diorama bases. I think this is funny. I prefer the Jedi robe when it goes all the way out. This is like a Jedi gilet. So it's like, this is his undersuit and this is his undersuit. And it's like a sleeveless Jedi robe. It's a summer Jedi robe for Tatooine maybe. But I still think it looks cool. I'm probably not going to buy 2 Obi-Wans from this show. Maybe they give us the original version, where he walks out of Tatooine and he's kind of the homeless version look, which I probably prefer. But they are going to give us that Vader. It's a bit light for a DX though. I think it's a bit light. What do you get? You get the rocks. You get the little box with the lightsabers in it. You get the robe. Yeah, like, I mean, DXs, but they are kind of gradually getting light. Like, we know this is coming. I'm not going to dwell on this. We know it's coming, and we know we want... Ideally, if they have a version where you can swap out the head sculpt for the battle damage one and the simple one with battle damage parts, because then you have a Vader which essentially could double as an original trilogy, traditional looking Vader, or your battle damaged Kenobi one, which would be fantastic. That looks, I think the proportions are very good. I'm a big sucker for proportions. Like, just, you know, he doesn't look like too wide. He doesn't look too narrow. This looked exactly like it, what I can remember. Even like the way this hangs down. It's this is all good. This is a solid race. Just gonna dress. This is funny. Did you know that meme? It's like, if you're ever feeling stupid, just remember that Captain America once tried to choke a robot. I believe it was from the Age of Ultron. This is kind of similar. This is quite funny. Yeah, comes down to the writing now. There's probably a heap of chats here, if I'm lucky. Okay, I'm going to scroll back for a while. Right, I'm just going to plow through some of these. Trevor Weed. Haven't seen them on Sideshow yet. No, yeah. Mike, I love they did the floating rocks thing. Yeah, good stuff. I agree. This is pretty much Final Battle Kenobi. It is, yeah. I don't know why people don't like the head sculpt. It's really good, at least for me, and the base is amazing. Yeah, like, it's yeah, Figurassic. Look, we can't always agree. I'm not hating on it, but I don't think it's a 10. Like, do you really think it's a 10? Yeah, I know you didn't say that now, but I'd be interested to see, for someone from a photography point of view, and what's your take on it, Figurassic? Do you think it's a 10, a 9, an 8, a 7, or do you agree with me it's a 6? Sounds like you think it's more than a 6, and that's fair enough, but I'm definitely not hating on it. I just think it's not quite there yet, but I'd be interested to know what number you'd give it out of 10. I'm going to get this Kenobi. I have faith that they'll sort it out. Yeah, so do I, to be honest. Look at the Doc Ock, like, you know, they basically said we're going to sort it. Like, I don't have an Obi-Wan Kenobi. This is a no-brainer. Yeah. I don't have a Vader either, Focus, but I'm wondering if my first one should be the battle damage one from the Kenobi series, if they do it. If you're just getting one and you're not entertaining the thought of quarter scales or anything, I would wait and see if they give you swap out parts, because if they give you the clean version with the swap out battle damage part, maybe the battle damage chest plate and the battle damage helmet where you can see the Hayden Christensen sculpt, I think that's a no-brainer, because then you can display original trilogy with your original trilogy collection, or you can also just swap it out, because, like, come on, you're going to want to display it with that sculpt as well. After some minor head sculpt edits, the Obi-Wan will be a great figure. Yeah, I do think so. Beskar Kid, it will be tweaked. Good stuff, like a Kylo and Rey. Good stuff. If you squint, it's a little better. The sculpt is about a 7. Yeah, good stuff. Okay. Come on, tell the truth. You're a Daniel O'Donnell fan. Mad Daniel O'Donnell. He's the original gangster of Ireland. That sculpt looking like Russell Crowe as Jarrell. Damn it, Mario. I can't unsee that now. I have to flick back. Mario. Oh, he is on to something. Yeah, I can kind of see it a bit there. All right, Mario, I can't unsee that now. Hopefully they'll fix it. Thanks for being here, Mario. Yeah, he definitely looks a bit weighty, and he's not a weighty man. Ewan McGregor, he's not a weighty man. He is, well, it's not even the figure doesn't look weighty. Like, he just looks. Ewan is a fairly lean man, and this guy definitely isn't as lean as him. Still think the head sculpt needs work. Mouth looks off. I do think it needs work. I agree. That's why I'm giving it a 6. I'm not going to give it anything. His robes are so clean. Shout out to Lael. I'm sorry. Not all things need to be clean. Not all things need to be clean. I'll leave that at that. USB, what? Can't believe it's finally happened. The exclamation marks, they just crack me up every time. Just want to know how this will work. Yeah, maybe you just plug it in and charge. Maybe a little charger for it. Yeah, I was curious to know, is it going to be like, you charge it? Because that's the ideal, and then you pop it in the hand. Or it mightn't be that bright then. Or is it going to be like a wire out the back? Or is I hope they're not going to go swap out hand and then you charge the back like through the robe. Yeah, hopefully they do it right. Holds breath. Yeah, it is a game changer. I do like the USB lightsaber, and hopefully the hot toys will go in the future. I think surely, with the Australia not accepting those button batteries is probably a blessing in disguise. Yeah, USB powered means I'd actually use a light up effect. I think a lot of people. This is an older iteration of Ewan. We'll see here. I do agree it's not perfect, but trust the final product. Yeah, you got to trust the final product. If the cheeks are thinned out, it will make a huge difference. Yeah, definitely. He looks like an older man. Yeah. It's a lot better than the Obi-Wan Kenobi sideshow or showcasing now. Like that, that's a bit of a disaster. Like, I know it's an animated version, but it's just, I don't think it's good, to be honest. It's the same robe as the Mythos, just has the arms cut off. Exciting times, so many reveals. What's going on? There's one pic where he looks like Wayne Rooney. Just in case people don't know who Wayne Rooney is. Some people mightn't. He was an English soccer player. He used to play for United, Manchester United, and used to play for England. Yeah, so yeah, it looks a bit strange. All right, so we'll move on to the next one. I'm gonna go on for another like 20 minutes because I want to wrap this up, but I'll just select the next thing now. All right, so stop sharing temporarily, and I'll find, what do I need to find? So I suppose Wolverine. You know what? I'll go through the lizard because that's going to be quick. So they also gave us this today. This is a base. I think this is a strange move. A lot of people wanted Lizard. A lot of people wanted Sandman. I was not one of those people. I wasn't going to get Lizard or Sandman. I wasn't clamoring for them, but other people were. And I don't think they're entirely happy, but I can't speak for everyone. This looks to me like a lot of people were saying, if they take the Venom body and use that to make the Lizard, that's what they want. And it almost seems like they took the top half of the Venom body and made a Lizard, which does look good, but you're only getting the top half. And they made it into a base, and then they're selling separately. Now, I don't mind, because if they had put I didn't want a Lizard anyway, so that's fine. I don't want the Sandman. That's fine. But other people do. But I do want an Andrew. And I'm wondering, if they had included this with the Andrew, wouldn't it drive up the price of the Andrew? There's no doubt, unless they did Andrew on its own, and then Andrew with the diorama Lizard base as a deluxe, which would be, come on, that's going to be what, could be $100, $150 more. And it might seem steep, but if you remember, the integrated suit on its own is one price. The Spider-Man No Way Home integrated suit with the base, with the Green Goblin kind of smoke effects and pumpkin bombs and the Doc Ock tentacles or whatever, that's the difference between them is $140. $140. So I'm glad that I think it's a strange move that they just did a base, but I'm glad they didn't give you the only option to get Andrews, having to get this base, because it would probably be $140 more. And given that people are saying that this is $290 in secret base, which means by the time it gets to sideshow, which I'm not going to order from anyway, $330 plus another $100, you're talking $500? No thanks. So yeah, I have no interest in this, but I'll look at the positives. First of all, okay, I have no interest in this anyway because I'm not gone on the character and it's only half a character really. These electrical effects I just don't like. Now, the positives. The paint apps on this look superb. Look at that girder. Look at all the rust. Like that's clever because science lesson. When the Statue of Liberty was first delivered to the United States, it was a copper color because it's made from copper, and coppers are like, you know, coins. They're like that reddish, shiny metal. And then over time it turns green because it oxidizes and forms copper oxide. Now, if you look at this, I think that's really clever the way that they've had the original girder, the kind of original reddish metal copper color, but they've put in some of the oxidation as well. That is why we are willing to spend money on these items. That is why Hot Toys are at the moment king of the 1/6 scale game, in my opinion. Like that little touch, that is the exact color of the Statue of Liberty, and that's why it's actually, you know, green. I know probably everyone knew this already in the chat, Science 101. But my point is the paint application, attention details in this looks superb. I do think this creature looks very good. Even like this, like the sagging flesh around here looks amazing. The scales look amazing. The paint, it's just not for me. But I think people will love this with Andrew posed above him. I just thought it was a strange move the way they separated them. Right, so quick address to the chat. Oh wait, it's not the full lizard figure. No, I don't think so, unless I'm completely missing something. Like, am I? I'll just go through it again. Like, I'm flicking through here and it's just, no, like, it's just half of it. This is the base. It shows the arm. The arm is now an accessory, Mike. And the cure, which doesn't come with Andrew, comes with this. So this is what you're getting. You're not getting the full thing, which is a shame because a lot of people are a big fan of that character from the comic books. I think if they included it with Andrew, they would have to pay new licensing for Andrew because, yeah, that makes sense. It must be something like that. I think you're right, Andrew, because it threw me with the way they branded the lizard No Way Home and they branded the Andrew Garfield Amazing Spider-Man 2. There has to be some sort of, their hands must be tied somehow. What's up? A lot of great jobs today. Yep. How are you doing, Brandon? How much do you think the base will price for? Well, just, I suppose the logic kind of, I suppose I've already answered that question in a way. The integrated suit from Spider-Man No Way Home was sold on its own or sold with the base, which had the Doc Ock tentacles, the smoke, and the Green Goblin pumpkin bombs. The difference between the integrated suit on its own and the integrated suit with the base, $140. Now, that was about 6 months ago. Now with inflation and the way things are, escalating prices in general, the fact that this does look a bit bigger and you're getting half a figure on it, I think it's going to be more than 140, less than 200. I can see people annoyed at this. I can see it being closer to 200 than 150. Maybe I can see people going, what, that amount of money for essentially a base? I'm putting it out there, more than 140, less than 200. I'm gonna go maybe 155. 155? What do you think it's going to be worth? This is the lizard version of Professor X. My fault, focus. I thought you were doing a full lizard figure. Didn't mean to confuse you. Oh no, sorry, I'm easily confused. Yeah, so there's no as far as I know, there was no full lizard figure being announced. All three are up at Devil's Advocate. Oh right, that's a shop, is it? I haven't heard of them. Lizard base is 115 to 150 USD. All right, okay, so I was wrong, which is good because, like, you can see my logic though. If the difference between the integrated suit on its own or the integrated suit with the base is 140, I think this base is probably a bit more complicated. Maybe it's not. Maybe the other one's more complicated with the moving arms. So, yeah, there you go. Thank you, JDK. So it's 115 to $150. So it's in between those on Toys Wonderland. Still expensive enough for a base. So $175, lol, yeah, sorry, my maths was way off. Well, this wasn't, yeah, I overestimated the cost. £122, $146 on Toys Wonderland. Thank you, Bearded Nerdy Oaf. There's a third party doing Elizabeth. There is, true, yeah. Bases 111.85 second batch and 146, right? So yeah, then you factor in, I suppose when you factor in though shipping, like you're going to be looking $200 for this, definitely if you're going with Toys Wonderland anyway. I saw that one, I'm on the fence with it. Thanks for the heads up though, Ryan Smith. Good stuff. Okay, right, we're going to finish up with Wolverine. I think it sounds, a lot of people seem happy with this. Can like sound off in the comment section there, like, are you one of the people who weren't expecting Wolverine but were delighted that it's actually getting made? Right, so Wolverine, I'm just going to go to the deluxe version because it's quicker. I'm not going to go through the two of them, there's no point. But I will identify the difference between the two. Okay, so Wolverine. All right, so where do we start? So there's a deluxe and there is a regular version. We will outline the difference between the two. So obviously it's Wolverine from the movie Days of Future Past. It's the 1973 version. This is probably my favorite X-Men film. I'm a fair weather X-Men fan, but I really didn't like the original trilogy. I wasn't a fan of any of the origins, really. I think the second one might have been all right. It was one of them I enjoyed. And then I did actually like First Class and Days of Future Past. I know a lot of people don't like them. For me, the best thing about any X-Men film so far was Hugh Jackman's performance. I know people say no, he's too tall. The character in the comics was shorter, but look, he was cast. I really liked how he worked on his physique for the role. I liked how he portrayed the character. He was a bit of an a-hole. I just thought he did a really good job, but I know that is controversial because a lot of people wanted to see a more true to comic representation, but I thought he did a good job. But if I'm buying a Wolverine, I want the adamantium blades. So this wouldn't fit in my collection, but it's not because it's not good. I do think it is good, but we're going to touch on a few things. So I want to take a look first of all at, okay, the difference between the regular and the deluxe is the base, which we will touch on, but just bear that in mind. So the base is the only real difference. This special bonus accessory, I presume that's one of those things like if you order it in a certain time, they throw in this, like the Iron Man shield, or no, it was last year. I'll give you a perfect example. It was Boba Fett, and the special edition bonus was a hologram of the Slave One, and then the Black Widow, the special edition was like a Taskmaster shield or something like that. You have to order it in a certain time, but look, you can get them on resellers anyways, it doesn't really matter. The difference between the regular and the deluxe for all purposes is the base, the big diorama base, which I'll look at later on. Right, so what does he come with? This, a little nudge to in-art I see here. Okay, let's see if I can zoom in a bit further on this. Okay, this here. So you have these forearms with the, I'm not going to say blades, the kind of skeleton, I suppose, because there's a skeleton that comes out. These are seamless, so maybe that's a little nod to in-art. We can do it, and if anything you can do, we can do better type of thing. You have the wristed hands with the skeleton coming out. A few swap out hands, two fisted, two open. You have the belt. It's an accessory. It keeps his pants on, so that's handy. So you have, it's kind of like an orangey, reddish brown kind of I presume it's a pleather material. Tell you what's not pleather though, a genuine leather jacket. In fairness, you have to be wondering, they must be watching streams. They have to be watching streams and taking things in, because pleather is just flaking and peeling, and people are buying these figures, and a few years later, depending on what your environment are, it's a dust show. It looks like Thanos has just done the snap. So you have these stylish boots. You have his denim jeans, I suppose. Genuine leather jacket. A lot of people are going to be happy with that. Two different shirts. You have this kind of like vintage, kind of funky retro looking one, then just a black shirt. And yeah, we'll take a look at a few of these things. So first impressions, that does not look like Hugh Jackman to me. I know, controversial. But I don't see Hugh Jackman in this photo. However, I definitely see Hugh Jackman in this photo. Now, be honest, Chef, look at this. This looks like Hugh Jackman any day of the week. I'm looking at this, and this is like, this head sculpt is like blowing me away. But then when I look back here, I think it's the eyes or something. It's like it's not the same head sculpt. It's weird. I know like certain head sculpts look good from certain angle, but I don't think I've ever seen one before where from this angle, I'm thinking that's like a 9. And then when I go over here, it's not a 9. Am I the only one who can see that? I'm going to hold that up for 1 second. I'm interested to see what people are saying in the chat. Please comment on this. Just comment on this photo and then say, do you think the other photos look as good as this? Because I think this is like the trump card. This looks like a 9 to me. This looks fantastic. This is when I think Hugh Jackman, Wolverine, this is what I think of. But then when I look at those other photos, they're not as good. Wolverine is sick. Head sculpt is so amazing. There is 4 different versions of Wolverine in Toys Wonderland. Wouldn't that be regular deluxe, regular with the special bonus edition part, and deluxe with the bonus edition part? I imagine that's what that is. Anyone else want to sound off and let me know if you know, because I think the bonus edition part comes with the regular and the deluxe if you order it in a certain time. So that's what I imagine it is. Regular deluxe without the bonus accessory, which is the sentinel arm, and then regular deluxe with the bonus accessory, which are maybe time sensitive or a bit higher in price. Wolverine is a great announcement, but definitely need adamantium metal claws. Yep. This will end up in the bargain basement, you think? I think a lot of stuff is going to end up in the bargain basement. Let's face it, we're on a verge of a recession. Like, let's be real. Like, a lot of people aren't going to be able to continue this, or even, you know, to talk myself, I'm not going to be able to continue to. I pass on a lot of things. I pass on things that are cool, that I like, that are shiny, to get the things I love. So I'd say if like the prices continue like this and everything, I'm definitely going to be even more selective than I already am, and I'm pretty selective. So I think a lot of stuff is going to end up in a bargain bin because people won't have the money, I would imagine. But maybe I'm way wrong about that. But look, they say recessions on average take place globally every 20 years. So you have 2008 was the last one when it started. It's hard to tell when you're actually in a recession. Hard to see the forest through the trees, but it looks like it's on the verge for the next few years, unfortunately. Really like the way this looks, but I wish it came with adamantium claws. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, maybe there's hope for an old man Logan. The head sculpt is a 10. Drop Mike moment, Pedro. I like someone who's just like, no, this is a 10. I think this is a 10 from this angle, but I don't know. Like, do you think it's a 10 from that angle? I don't think that. It's almost like they're different head sculpts. And there, I don't think it's a 10 in that. It looks great, but waiting to see what we get coming up when the reboot from the franchise. I only really want one version. I prefer a more traditional look. Yeah. Give us a Fassbender, Magneto, and Mystique. Yeah. Like Fassbender. Lots of innovation today. Seamless wrists, LED, USB powered lightsabers. Yeah. Looks the same to me. Man, I don't see it. Wolverine is amazing. How are you doing, Pulp Viking? I love the outfit. Yeah, cut and sew is great. Yep, that's correct. That's on about the 4 different versions. They can do so many versions of Wolverine now. Yeah. Do the seamless wrists articulate? I wouldn't say so, but I don't know. I actually haven't seen anything. I haven't read the little bio on it or whatever. I think I read the one on Instagram, but I was going to flick through these. I'm going to wrap it up in 5 minutes. I think that is fantastic. Like it's weird. It's the closer up in its head sculpt, the better it is. So maybe this is all just the way the light is bouncing off it, or the way the thing is taken. Could be like the way it's lit, could be creating shadows under the eyes, and maybe it doesn't look the same as. That is amazing. That's so good. Yeah, so take a look at this base here. So basically, if you look at this round base, this is the second time in the past week we've seen that. The first time was with the Arena Black Armor Boba Fett, but it had sand on it and it didn't have footprints. This has grass. You have a little golf course up here. You have a cross grabber. You have the kind of concrete floor or slab with the kind of the wiring. What's the actual name of this? Is a word from it's like a mesh inside which kind of like supports the structure of the wall. You have a bunch of kind of gnarled, rusted like ladders and stuff like that, and just demolished buildings really. Cut and sew looks great. Boots look good. Yeah, denim jeans look good. This kind of like red, kind of red orange. I presume it's a pleather belt. Maybe it's leather, like the actual genuine leather coat. His kind of very vintage looking shirt, the head sculpt, which I'm going to hold out in the head sculpt. Like, that looks great there. Jacket looks good. Yeah, I think this is going to make a lot of people happy. There could be some dopos today. I'd imagine there will be. See, this looks different to me. I just can't. Looks better there. Maybe it's just the angle. This here is the selling point. I think that looks extremely good. So yeah, that is pretty much it. I think I've gone through them all. I'm going to adjust the chat there before we close this out. Lovely outfit, that's correct. I don't know about the seamless arms. I think the leather jacket, maybe the color, how they light it when the jacket's on. Possibly, yeah, it's something like that. Annoyingly, I really like, annoyingly because I'm getting out of control with my core focus. Man, you need to focus, no pun intended. Brown suit, Wolvie would be low-key dope as hell. 45 in the chat, thanks very much. I would appreciate if you would hit the like button. That would be appreciated. Doing great, making dinner for my son. I'm only getting this from all the releases. Those days are good though, when you're like, my wallet's safe, but there's still something to get excited about. I think they could have done an older version of Wolverine. Hot Toys, they do so much better with the older versions. I like it that they have yeah, definitely, they're definitely listening. For the first time getting the version without the extra. Need to save some money. Yeah, I don't think I'd get the extra on this either. I think you're dead right, Pulp. Yeah, it's like the camera's too low and the head sculpt looks worse. Yeah, something like that. I think it's something simpler. Yeah, it looks fantastic, that one shot I was on about. This is going to look amazing next to Deadpool. Yeah. The two lads, Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman, buddies in real life. They let on that they hate each other. It's a bromance. A lot of people are cutting back. Hot Toys might be in trouble. Yeah, who knows? I think hopefully they'll be all right, because if they shut down, as much as people like kind of bashing them and stuff, if they shut down, then what are you gonna do? Third parties work backwards, everything goes through the roof. Yeah, so like just want to say a massive thank you to anyone who's taken the time to watch this and comment and engage. I really appreciate it. So what's coming up on the channel? I made a video today. If you want to laugh, it's very short. It's basically, it says Nope on it. It's a kind of my thoughts on the Sideshow collectibles, General Kenobi and Anakin from the animated TV show The Clone Wars. And then I basically did a pre-order preview on all these, not a pre-order preview, but a first look at all these announcements as well. So that's up live as well. I'll be on Collector's Lounge at Layout on Sunday. And I believe there's 2 episodes of Visions coming up. I'm locking down times. One is with, three actually. One's with Cam's Collection. One's with Marco from 16 Fix. And one's with the Ben Thomas Show. So I'm going to try and get them scheduled over the next few days. They'll be popping up. So yeah, like if you need a laugh, folks, like Julie said, the video he's referring to, I'll see if I can actually pop it into the chat here. Give me 1 second. Let's see if I can just pop this into the chat. Right, so give me 1 second before I go. Yeah, so it's like basically my thoughts on the Sideshow collectibles, Kenobi and Anakin. Hopefully I'll be able to just cut and paste this here. This should be the right one. That's there. Folks, thank you very much for engaging and for taking part in the chat. Yeah, there's going to be a few episodes of Visions coming up, basically, with, like I said, Marco from 1/6 Fix, Ben from the Ben Thomas Show, and Killicam, of course. That's pretty much it. So I'm going to leave it there. And again, thank you very much for engaging. Thanks for watching. Thanks for liking. If you haven't subscribed, maybe you would consider it. Get my banner up there. I should have put the banner up about an hour ago. But there it is, yeah. You can also follow me on Instagram. I'm trying to promote the Instagram as well, because I'm going to take a bunch of photos over the weekend as well. I've got some new figures coming in. So thanks very much. I love the fact that you're a European collector. EU, yeah. Because we have a harder time getting stuff. Yeah, exactly. That's why you got to shop around. I'll leave it there, folks. Actually going to go this time. So where is my outro? See you, folks. Thanks very much. See you in the next one. Good luck.